So, welcome to the podcast where we're going to navigate the fine art of seamanship. Today, we're going to be focusing on a critical topic, which is anchoring courtesy. So, first off, anchoring isn't just about finding the perfect spot, even though that's a huge factor, but it's also being respectful of your neighbors and the environment. So, stick around and pick up some practical tips to ensure that your anchoring etiquette is shipshape. Before we dive in, if you're looking for any resources related to anchoring, if you're the type of guy who drops the anchor and just wishes for the best, definitely check out the etiquette anchoring course. It's going to be linked into the show notes. It's a comprehensive and easily digestible piece of content that can help you really master anchoring. Okay, so number one, be courteous to your neighbors, right? Noise travels over the water great distances. It's a pretty flat area. There's no obstruction, so you can hear very far away. So if you're playing music loud or you're talking loud, people can generally hear that. Be mindful if it's late at night or early in the morning that your noise can travel, and just be respectful of the other people around you. The last thing you want is to have a big party and start angering your neighbors who show up with the dinghy and get real pissed at you. Number two, carbon monoxide awareness. So once you anchor, if you have the engine running, it produces carbon monoxide, and that carbon monoxide will hover over the water. And depending on which wind direction, that carbon monoxide can go into other people's boats or even back into your own. So, after you anchor and everything's set up, just be sure to shut off the engine. Don't let it run for a long period of time. 3, think before you dump. Right? So be cautious what you throw overboard. Not only can you run into legal issues, but a lot of these anchorages are pristine areas. So you definitely don't want to be throwing food scraps or plastic or anything else that could harm marine life or disrupt the ecosystem. So be aware of that. 4, anchor using the same method as others nearby, right? So generally when you go to an anchorage, all the boats are going to be pretty much facing the same direction as the wind kind of moves all the boats in unison. So be aware of how everyone else is anchored, because your boat's going to end up doing the same thing. When you show up, observe if everyone's using only chain or are they doing a mix of chain and rope, because depending on what they're using, their swing's going to be different. So you want to match their method to ensure that your boat will swing in harmony with everyone else when the wind shifts. You don't want to be hitting into other people's boats. And 5, avoid anchoring in mooring fields. So mooring fields are designed for boats that are mooring, right? So the swing is going to be substantially different than an anchored vessel. The line that connects a mooring ball to a boat is generally much shorter. And so if you show up and you anchor in a mooring field, there's a high likelihood that if the wind shifts, you could run the risk of hitting another boat. So just avoid anchoring in mooring fields. So that was a little bit on some anchoring courtesy. And for a deeper dive, check out the etiquette anchoring course that's in the show notes. Tune in next time for some more insights on boating.